It's 8 a.m. I'll call the meeting to order. Everybody, please join me in pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the approval of the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Bills. I think there was a question on the rent for the law enforcement center. Ed, do you remember, did that change?
Did it go up?
Yeah.
It was like 1745, and now it's up to
3? What last year?
3,000. Something about going off the square footage.
Well, we adjusted it a year ago, but maybe we did that this year too. I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure on that one.
We'll have to get clarification on the,
Right. I'm sure it's right.
on the rent, but
I think it was 17.
1745 to 3,067.
Well, in the interim, I'll make a motion to approve payment of the bills.
Second.
There's one on there from the highway department, it's over 2,000, but I'm gonna make a motion on that too. First sign, inventory sign.
been moved and seconded that we pay the bills as submitted. Roll call vote.
Here. Yay.
Brown,
Aye.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Volk. Fritz.
Aye. Bills are paid. We'll approve the financial report. Anybody has any questions on the financials? Everything looks good.
I'll make a motion to approve the financials.
We have a motion and a second to approve the financials as submitted. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Roll call. Financials.
No.
All right, treasurer's checks.
Move to approve.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second for the treasurer's checks. That one will be a roll call.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Volk,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Fritz.
Aye. Treasurer's checks are approved. Approval of the agenda. We're gonna move Alan McKay up for District Health's discussion on COVID-19, if that's okay with everybody. Alan's got a prior meeting. And I don't know if it needs to be an agenda item or a policy change, but I would like to change the deadline for agenda items. Getting those to Candy no later than Thursday prior to the meeting at noon. Anything after that could be delayed until the following meeting. If commissioners look on the table before you, there's an awful lot of things that were not included in our packet from last week, and that's because of the late arrival of them. Doesn't give us an opportunity to fully look through those, so I'd like to either add that in there or make that some sort of policy change. Or we could put that under new business. Anything else to, for the changes to the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Motion to approve as amended. Do we have a second? Motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved as amended. Mr. McKay, if you wouldn't mind coming to the podium, please, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I passed this sheet out. There's this week's updates for all of our counties, including Ramsey. So this week we've got about 120 Pfizer and 450 Moderna. We'll be expanding our hours a little bit. Thursday will be from 10 until 3. Wednesday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be doing second doses from 1 until 3. So this will be the first time for that. We'll see how that goes. And kind of split it up a little bit with the higher numbers coming in. Last week it went very, very well. We got a little about 430, 40 shots done. And it went very well. It was very well organized. We got help from all 2 nurses. We got help from Extension, helped us out. And so it went, and of course the guard helped us. So it's been going very well. We got an update from CDC that Johnson & Johnson is now approved. We won't be getting it right away. When they ship it out later this week, it'll be going to pharmacies only. It's a one-shot vaccine, and it can last in the fridge for 90 days, which is a very good thing. What they're going to start with it, I believe, at pharmacies and like the jails, because so far if we give the first shot to the person in the jail, they get out and we don't ever see them again. So that's going to be a good help, and so and other people like that make it at one shot so they don't have to come back. So, any questions from you?
So the month of March, you have the 10th, the 3rd, the 10th, the 24th. For the second doses only from 1 to 3.
Yep.
And then the first doses, anyone 16 and over. Those are Thursdays, the 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th. Thursdays are 10 to 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Wednesdays are 1 to 3.
Yeah.
And just a reminder for everybody out in virtual land listening, doors open 15 minutes prior.
Yep.
And you know, we don't need a bunch of people waiting outside when it's cold or the temperatures are not accommodating for human beings. Masks are required in the Memorial Building Gymnasium. So if you're coming to get your shots, please remember that. Correct?
That's correct, and if you do forget your mask, we do have some extras there. Most of the people have been very good about wearing their masks, and last time people were very good about waiting until the last before they lined up outside. So that's gone real well also. So yeah, we don't have a wait list. We get that question quite a bit. The only wait list that we keep is homebound people. So if you know anybody that is homebound, we've kept up, our list is down to 0 right now. So we've been keeping up with that list as we get it. And we actually send a nurse right out to their house and give the shot. So.
And did I see right that about 32% have already received their first dose in Ramsey County?
Yeah, actually, it's even a little higher, under or over 75. I think it's up close to 45–50%. But yeah, it's going quite well. So like I say, anybody that wishes to get their shot now can come. 16 years of age and up. So that includes everybody. So So we would like to see people out there, more the merrier.
You said 45% for the first shot, right?
What's that?
You said 45% for the first shot, or you're vaccinated?
75 number.
75.
75.
75 and over, sorry.
Al, last time you were here, you said that you thought probably late summer, early fall is when we would sort of reach herd immunity. Do you feel that that's still the timeline, or do you feel that we're actually outpacing that a little bit?
Well, we're a little bit ahead in our area. We got a little slow last time, which kind of surprised me when we brought it down to 16. But we may have to go have clinics, after 5 or on a Saturday or whatever to get those other people to come in. So we're willing to do what we have to get everybody immunized. Plus, we got the pharmacy and the hospital still doing, and with pharmacy receiving the single dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine, that's going to bring a few more people out to get their shot so that they don't have to come back. So it's looking good. Plus, the federal government is pushing more doses out, as they said they would. They're coming out faster. So it's looking like we might even make it before then, but it's hard to say. Any other questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate
For
it.
the update, Alan.
Yeah, all right.
Sarah, extension.
Okay, so just a little update on our happenings. I'd like to thank Commissioner Lightmon for coming to our performance review last month. I thought that went just fine. And we've got a lot going on with 4-H. We recently just had a 4-H leaders retreat, a first time ever. Had that this past Saturday, so just gave all of our 4-H leaders hands-on training and some ideas for their meetings. We've got a big forensics kit that we're passing out to all the leaders, so that is pretty exciting for all of the kids to learn about what happens with forensics and all sorts of scientific STEM activities with that. We recently had 11 participants in our older 4-Hers participate in law. It's called Leadership Awareness Weekend. In a normal year, they would have gone to the state capitol and learned about how the process works with our legislators. But this was held virtually, and the kids had a really good time and learned a lot and learned how a bill passes and all sorts of things. Our fruit and candy sales are due this Friday, so if you haven't ordered yet, find a 4-Her and get your order in. Our shooting sports program is booming. Our air rifle classes have ended, but the state air rifle match will be the end of March, and we are hosting that. And that is again a postal, which means that the participants will participate at their home range. And we also did host the district match last month, and that was also a postal. There were 38 participants, 21 came from Ramsey County. They all did great. Our archery program started last night, so we have 51 participants with that. There's numerous archery matches for those 4-Hers to participate in. Bill's got our pesticide program going. Unfortunately, our live programs are at half capacity, but those are pretty much full. Our March 16th pesticide training is full. I believe there's a few more spots on the April 1st training, and then Bill is also doing a Zoom training along with Towner and Benson counties, and that one will be open to as many participants as they can take. And we are actually still taking applications for our part-time position. It's called Extension Staff Technical Support. So if you know anybody that would be qualified, it's for about 16 to 18 hours a week. Somebody that has some technology experience with our website and social media presence. It's a fun and rewarding position, so we're looking for the right person. So, anybody have any questions? Extension?
You guys are busy.
We are, got a lot going on, a lot of different things. Keeps it interesting.
I don't have a question, but I'll make a comment. The review process was really interesting. Everything was really positive. I learned quite a bit, actually.
Oh, good.
I didn't know that all the tribal colleges are also land-grant colleges now. I
Yes.
never knew that, so I learned something new while I was there. But very, very positive reviews from the district directors and everything like that, so I never heard of positive things to say about extension, so glad to be part of it.
Anything else for Sarah? Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Kevin?
Nope, this is a vote.
Leon? I'm sorry, I'm going off the old agenda. Mr. Ackerman? How are you, sir?
Good.
Good.
I'm putting up a meat shop out on the highway and I applied for an off-sale license. And I wanted to come and see if you guys need to know anything about what's kind of what I'm looking to do is deal with a lot of campers and people that can swing in and get stuff, and then I want to handle like 4 or 5 different brands of beer where they can buy a case of beer and out the door and have everything that they need. So that's, I'm sure you were wondering what's a meat shop, you got a beer license, but that's what it's about.
Barbecue and beer.
Yep,
Perfect.
so I just thought I'd
Do you have
come.
any questions on the app and get those?
Yeah.
There was a couple of blank questions. I don't think there are any issues or problems on the application. But Candy will get ahold of you and
Okay.
get those included.
We put a drive-through window, so a guy can buy meat out of a drive-through window, buy steaks, burger, some mixed sausage. We're not gonna butcher there, it's just gonna be like a miniature L&M meat deal, and make the old Munich sausage. We got that recipe, and so that's kind of what, I don't think the beer's gonna be, I don't think it's gonna be a big deal, but who knows? I mean, the guy that wants to stop and get it all in one place, that's kind of what.
And is it just beer or is it other alcoholic products?
It would be all alcohol products, you know, the liquor license and all. We'd have like a Travelers of vodka or whiskey for the guys that want to go to their camper spot. You know, there's a couple thousand camper spots out there you so we're gonna, if I get all my ducks in a row here, I'm hoping the first day I can have it roll in or whatever, so that's what
I love the address that you came up with. Nearby road. Perfect. Any other questions for Mr. Ackerman?
I think it's a good idea.
Everything looks good, the township's on board.
I guess that I had a guy come to me and his business kind of went down and he, hey, you know, we want to do this, and I thought, no, I've done stupider things. And so I've had three, and I thought to myself, well, today, day and age, everybody's eating in a drive-through and banging through a drive-through, and why wouldn't they buy beef through a drive-through? So that's, you know.
Whereabouts is it exactly? Just
Go
for
out
my-
to the Dakota Drive-In when you're leaving town and go past the mining station. You get to the Dakota Drive-In and there's a road there that I built right along the highway, and then there's a green building that matches the resort. And I didn't want to put no signs up, that's sitting over at decorated, and I got green lights, so they'll find it. They'll find it. It's right along the highway there.
That other building going up at the lumberyard, huh?
Yeah, then Steve Johansson's putting up a lumber yard. He's right next to us there. He's putting up a lumber yard, gonna have a showroom deal in there, and no, I didn't, actually, I bought a lot of stuff from him, for meat shack, and he's, it's gonna be a neat, that's gonna be nice for us to have, right next door, and then he's got the hardware store in Lakota, and he's got any Milwaukee tool you could think of, I mean, it's kind of, I looking forward to, and then, the North Dakota Petroleum, he's putting up, building up across from me, Joe Gleason, and I'm dealing on welding, Justice Samuelson's dealing on a lot to put up a building for his welding shop, and, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of whole talent there, a lot of stuff or whatever as far as going on, so.
Any other questions?
I'll make the motion to approve the beer and liquor license.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the application for beer and liquor license.
Here's a little card I made, I just run through them.
Any further questions?
Yep.
Looks good, Neil.
If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Like a little, yeah. Like a little town out there, you know,
Well-
with all the campers and
Yeah,
everywhere.
No, I've had a lot of, and I got Kevin Dinky, he's been living with us for 3 years, and he's gonna bail into it, help my partner or whatever in it, and they're both gonna cut meat, and me and Roberto will jump in and help them get it going or whatever, and, I think it's gonna be neat. I think the name of it was the Lakeland, and a couple months ago I started paperwork, I didn't know that they were gonna call the one down here Lakeside, but hey, they'll find us. So, that's, what. Well, thanks a lot, you guys.
Good luck.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we'll get to Kevin.
Alright. Okay, start off with the, everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Alright. The bids for the truck chassis that I got from the state was $102,989. We went through that last meeting, but now I got the quote for the starter box and the plow, which was $58,542. So the total of the two is $161,531 for the new truck plow. And I did, I included the quotes. I don't know if you had a chance to look at those. Any questions about that?
Those are both state bids then, one's a North Dakota bid, one's a Minnesota bid, so we know we're getting a load of them.
Yep. We had made one change to the plow. It's got a flat edge on the discharge side. It's got a flat edge, so we don't hit mailboxes. Normally we'd have a bigger barrel, but we cut the barrel off about 2 inches. That's the only change we made. State bid.
It's an international truck, is that correct?
What's that?
It's an international truck.
Yep, it is. That's it.
Need a motion to award the bids then and go ahead with it? Oh, so
Second.
Moved and seconded, that we go ahead and with the bids for the new plow truck and plow. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, and it's that time of year again to set our summer grading contract rates for the summer per mile rates and the hourly rates. We got the chart there for what it actually costs us. 2020, our per hour rate was $148.41. And actually, our per mile rate was $650.79. And last year we charged $280 per mile for 6 wadings, and $130 per hour for government work, and $135 per hour for private work. So this year I was just suggesting that we raise that to $10 to $290 per mile, $5 an hour for government rates and private rates. Any questions on the charts or on the cost?
Should bring it up, I guess. Is that enough to cover the fuel cost of what's going on?
Yeah, that's about half. I mean, on the per mile rates, that's about half, so. But we'll cover the fuel and the labor, most of the labor.
Make a motion to adjust rates accordingly.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded that we approve the summer blading contracts, the hourly rates. 290 and 140, correct?
135 for government and 140.
145. All right. Any further questions? Discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
So we'll be sending those contracts out this week probably, so the townships will be getting them next week. For sure, probably this week, depending on how the mail goes. Just so you got a heads up, you might get some questions from someone.
Can I ask one quick question? On, I would assume like the 18 and 20 years since the cost was up, were those years when we were able to get out late in the fall?
Okay, that's a good question. On the bottom chart there, in 2019, our actual cost was like $430,770. That was the year we had that big October.
So we didn't get a last, so we probably only got 5 in some places, and like this year we probably got 6 or 7 in some places, so our cost went up. That's kind of what I was looking at going, just trying to figure out what's going on there.
Exactly correct. We were out in November blading, we didn't charge them to do it, so yeah, those costs got included in that November blading. So yeah, that's up a little bit because we were out in November.
That's kind of what I figured, but I was just kind of curious.
We did go up a little bit in December, but we did charge them for that. There wasn't much of that, but
Okay, thank you.
okay, moving on, weight restrictions will be coming on pretty quick. Typically it's around the 3rd week of April or March, depending on the weather, of course. So I'd like a motion to put our weight restrictions into effect at the same time as the state highways go into effect.
So,
Second.
One question, they're gonna be the same as last year?
Yeah, the weight.
All the rates?
Yeah. Unless it takes a motion to change restriction the way we set them, so we'll have them all exactly the same way they were last year. Unless there's a new motion.
Does Latin Road is the same as the Prairie Grade there?
It's 8 or 7 tons. Everything is 6 tons except for, not 7 tons. Won't go into the Duane elevator. It's 8 tons. Won't go into Prairie is 7 tons, and truck run is 8 tons.
8 tons and truck route?
8 tons per axle.
We've had the Rotten Road at 7 ton all the time, or was it 8 ton? I thought it was 8 ton last year.
You're right, it was 8 ton last year, yeah. I'm wrong.
I can't tell. Difference in the color and the darkness here or whatever, but I kind of think it's not marked 8 ton on the map. Do we make a note of that?
I will make sure of that, yes.
I think Prairie is an 8 ton road too, right?
Prairie to the elevator.
To the elevator.
yeah, right, we're in north of Thomas Little.
Yeah, make a note of that on the rough stuff.
Now, remind me on Woods Run Road, I know on a provisional basis, we increased it to see if it would cause any damage, right? I'm thinking of the right thing.
Yeah.
Did we then the next year formalize that? I can't remember, I thought we probably did, but
I thought we did, yeah.
I just want to make sure that we,
I think we made the change permanently because when the road was rebuilt, they did the, they rebuilt the bed and everything, so it held up really well actually to that 8 pounds.
yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure I didn't dream that.
No, that's what I recall as well.
And just for information, it's the same way on the Benson side. When they built their side, they were using that impact money, so they had to build theirs to 105.5. So that is also built in the higher spec.
You can't, the state won't let you build a new road, rebuild a new road,
Well, you can
without going to 105, can you?
no, you can if you use your own money, but if you're using that stimulus money, then you have to build it to 105.5.
Hardly any county use their own money.
No, they use that stimulus money. Almost sure, but
Any other questions, discussion on the motion before us to the weight restrictions when at the same time as the state does? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
and I'd also like a motion to send a letter to the state highway patrol asking for their help in the enforcement of the weight restrictions.
Move to approve. Second.
Moved and seconded that we send a letter asking the state patrol for help with weight restriction enforcement. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
So one question there, I tried calling the HBs to find out if their lieutenant is still Troy Heischer.
Fisher.
It is? Okay, so that letter is ready to sign, that's what I'm sure. Next, need orders some oil and filters, do the service intervals on all 6 motor graders. They're gonna cost $6,582.73, so we'll be doing that around the 1st of April.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and approved that Kevin order up the oil and filters for the graders. $65.82.73. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And the last item I have is a motion to advertise for our bids for gravel projects, chip seal project, road oil, and hot mix overlays.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded that we approve the advertisement for gravel project, chip seal, road oil, and hot mix overlays. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Alright.
That makes me happy because it's that time of year that means
Yeah.
the road construction season's around the corner, which means the month is coming.
We're farming by the end of the month, right?
That's right. And I've got to start pulling stuff out. It'll be 50 over the weekend.
And there was 33 this morning.
That's all I have.
That's all you have? Okay.
Thanks, Kevin.
Think I do.
Anything else for Kevin? Thank you. Oh, let's see, next up we have the unfinished business as far as COVID-19 discussion. And I think Alan gave us a pretty good update. I'd like to see that progress we're making with the vaccinations, not only in district health, but other vaccination outlets within the county. And I guess if things continue to progress the way they are, probably look at moving our meetings back to a upstairs location. First meeting in April, maybe? That'd be
motion that first meeting in April, we return to our usual meeting spot.
New location. Motion and a second to move back up the commission meeting to the commission room on first floor. Further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I give you enough time to move, Steve?
I'll try to get it cleaned up.
Okay.
We better have somebody go in there too and ahead of time mark chairs or something, just so we know we're still doing our distancing as best we can out of the crowd. Right?
I think
Put some little X's on them or whatever.
So, good idea, and then if we have anything bigger, major on the agenda that we anticipate a crowd, we can always come back down here. So,
I'll just leave it on the calendar.
sure,
This-
yeah, perfect. Thank you. Any further discussion on any COVID-19 updates, policies?
I had someone ask me if we're renting, like the downstairs here for meetings, and I didn't know, is this open for rent yet?
Will it have any rent, do they?
Or,
Usage.
meetings, not necessarily.
Meeting usage. Yeah.
Well, depending on what it is. If it's a political subdivision or.
There was training, but they were talking 30 people. I don't know what the capacity would be down here.
Sure.
Okay.
People's building.
I'm gonna call Nathan.
Okay.
Anything else, Chris? Everything's going okay? Is on your end for? I'm kind of like a waiter, you know, asking you when you're over to take your drink.
All perfect time too.
How is everything?
Everything's going pretty good. Getting some really weird flood permits. Everything else is just kind of going forward. I want to bring it up in the meeting necessarily right now, but some discussion on opening a floodplain for a boat ramp, but gotta get the final details on that. Figure that out.
Good. As far as PPE supplies, and all that kind of stuff is going good. The burn rate is
So far, I haven't heard anything, so it must be burn rate, must be golden.
good. Yeah, I haven't heard any problems or concerns with face masks or hand sanitizer or cleaning supplies, so we'll knock on wood or whatever, and hopefully things continue down the path they are. So, thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Any other discussion on COVID-19? Any other unfinished business? Not, I think we can move on to new business. Approved payment to senior citizens clubs.
I have one question on Teller County, why did you hold money back there?
I got notification, and I was hoping to have paperwork by today, that they are dissolving.
Good. They don't have to belong to one?
They're not going to do the foot care clinic in Ramsey County. So, yeah. So I was waiting for board minutes and a letter, and then they were going to refund what money that they didn't use last year. Back to us.
And we'll give it to the foot clinic then?
Yeah, I
Foot
don't,
clinic here?
do they have it here? Is that through the CPS?
Yes.
We can wait, you know, if you
Yeah.
want to wait until next meeting, you know, when I have a dollar amount and
Since the senior center is my portfolio, I was thinking about the COVID money that we've gotten. Put some of that over there. I don't know. We've had quite a go of it during the COVID pandemic. You know, they've been closed up, they haven't had meals in their cafeteria for quite a while. Yeah, been kind of a money maker for them. I didn't make it this month, or last month's meeting, but I was there in January.
Will we table the whole thing? Would you like to come to proposal of how much you feel the,
Well,
the money you feel the senior center
I'd like to
would use?
have an idea from you guys.
Well, I think that's a fine idea, at least from my perspective, I just would like to know kind of what the need is. So
Okay.
that we're not just throwing money.
Really?
I'm not opposed to trying to help, just figure out what they're gonna do and see what we can fit, I guess. They provide a valuable service.
Absolutely.
I would hate to have them not there anymore just because of that, so we can find a way to help them.
So can we table this until next meeting? Figure it out.
They don't have to be paid until when, and,
It's usually paid in April.
okay, so we got some time.
Yeah,
In March, you said?
in April.
I'll make a motion that we table payment to the senior centers until the second meeting in March.
Second.
Thank you.
Moved and seconded to table the senior payments to the second meeting in March, I think it's the 16th. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Table that until then.
You want to go?
Next item for discussion is the siren cost allocation agreement. Siren is I'm not sure exactly what that acronym stands for. Is it something about interoperable radios?
State interoperable radio.
Never asked.
So in your packet, we have a cost allocation agreement between Ramsey County, Benson County, Eddy County, Nelson County, and the city of Devils Lake. Anticipated cost for the project, somewhere $420,000. We've got it broken down, the different entities.
This has come down to total figure. I think it started out about 460, now about 420. It's what they want.
Here it says 372, isn't that
Yeah, that's,
They had, what, 40
we got some grant money coming in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think about 50 grand coming in on grant.
Great.
And that lowered it for everybody. And this is going off the population.
Just about 48,000 from North Central Planning Council. Yeah.
so that's, the splits are off population then, or?
Based off the population. You can see Benson County, it's including reservation there, so. I mean, that's the way Stutzman County does it. That's how they charge the city of Jamestown, which, if I remember right, I think it's about 67% of the cost of 911 in Stutzman County comes from the city of Jamestown, because they have no outlying counties in their system. So,
Well, I mean, hypothetically, you should base it off population simply because that's the possible capture volume on calls. I mean, where the population is where the calls are. I guess, I don't see any problem with the breakdown, it looks fair, it's reasonable, so I guess, and I looked through the agreement, it looked good.
yeah.
We don't have a new state's attorney yet, but everything looked okay. So,
And both Ed and I were thinking that we would go ahead and pay our share, Ramsey County this year, out of our siren funds.
Out of the dollars we got back from
Out of
COVID.
the COVID fund, yeah, excuse
Yeah, I
me.
think that's completely reasonable.
Eddie County was gonna pay theirs too.
Yeah.
And it says there's no prepayment penalty for us to put our cash in right away, and I think that's good, because it gives us a good basis for starting the project too. So I'll make a motion, we sign the agreement, and then we pay our portion of the bill completely with our COVID relief funds.
Second.
Thank you.
We moved in second that we go ahead and sign the agreement and make our payment, or agree to pay our full amount. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye, or would you like a roll call?
Roll call.
Let's do a roll
Tim?
call.
Brown,
Aye.
Volk,
Aye.
Lightfon,
Aye.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Frick.
Aye. Yes, and like Commissioner Brown indicated, thank you. This is one of those unfunded mandates from the state of North Dakota that these get upgraded throughout the state, not only in PSAP itself, but all emergency responder radios as well. So it's going to be a considerable cost to local entities, and there's some state funding, but not for this one.
The control board, there's 3 of them in the, if you've been there, they're the original ones. So they're a big part of the cost here.
Well, that was well overdue, we were gonna have to do something with it anyway, so it's fine that we're doing it at this point. Yeah, I think the next thing, like you said, is figuring out then what were the costs going to be on all the different radios we have, that we have to replace, and what's the state share on that, and we'll have to kind of get our arms around that, so we can figure out what our costs are gonna be at. Because that's, I know that the state has the crazy expensive, the state has a cost share or a percentage share on a portion of the radios, but not some of them, so we'll have to get our arms around what our total costs are gonna be to see where we're gonna be at.
I think, what was it, $1,500?
Yeah, it was $1,500 if, on certain qualifying agencies,
Yeah,
and they have to rewrite, in Bismarck, all the rules, and who gets that $1,500, kickback. Because right now it's fire department and EMS.
yeah, so like the sheriff's department wouldn't qualify, we'll be paying for all those out of pocket unless they change it, correct?
Oh, actually, sorry, sheriff's department's part of that too. Yep,
Sheriff's and police, but.
yep. But that's a small number of, agencies when they look at everyone else who's using radios within the county.
So I think we saw the expense of those 2 new deputies that the sheriff's department added and what the cost of those radios were. Very expensive.
$1,500 ain't gonna get us very far anyway. That's the problem. $1,500 sounds like, hey, that's good money until the radio comes in at about $8,000 or whatever they do.
All right. We have the siren agreement and allocation agreement approved. Raffle permit. We have a raffle permit request.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we approve the raffle permit. I believe this is for Alcatraz Lodge. Josh Berryman. Raising money. I think it's for rural fire, is it? Station 219? Fire and iron.
Fire and iron.
Yeah, fire and iron. All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Any other new business? Visitors, Mr. Hockey, welcome.
Thank you, appreciate it. Just wanted to, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, just wanted to come by and introduce myself. I haven't had the chance to meet all of you. I've met some of you, but my name is Mr. Matt Bakke. I'm the new superintendent here at Devils Lake Public Schools, and really getting thrown into the fire with this school year. Taking on decisions and challenges that we've never had to meet or make decisions on ever before in public education. So, but I really enjoy my time here thus far. I've been here for about 8 months, I would say. It feels like 8 years, but that's all right. So, I appreciate all the work you guys do and the work we can do together as a community. And so, I can certainly stand for any questions or answer any questions you may have. I will say I'm probably wearing our Firebirds gear today as we take on Fargo South in the quarterfinals for our girls basketball. I'm probably wearing my UND Fighting Hawks gear today too after the big win this weekend in football and number 4 ranking. So pretty excited about that. As a past UND football player, I'm passionate about UND football. So
Who lit the fire down there?
I don't know. It's good to see though. So.
Fantastic. Any questions for Mr. Bakke?
Just one question, you didn't take that pandemic course in school?
No, I wish I would have taken that one. I'm currently in my doctoral program as well, and actually my dissertation is going to be on taking on a pandemic in your first year as a superintendent. So when I get done with that one, I don't know that it will be real helpful, other than the aspect of what are some challenges you may face as a new superintendent. So, yeah. No, they didn't have one of those pandemic courses in my EDL program. So.
I was at the ballgame last week and I asked Ryan Hansen that same question.
Yeah.
No, I guess that what he said. So.
Dr. Schlenker, Jared Schlenker is one of my professors at UND, and I asked him, I said, hey, where is that COVID class that you guys were teaching? So, didn't have that one on the repertoire. So.
Sure appreciate you coming down to us.
Yeah, thank you, and I hope to be at meetings here in the future as well. I'll be honest, the fall and the winter were pretty hectic and crazy with all the challenges we had to face, and so I was hoping to be here sooner, but hope to be here more often. So please feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions. I have some cards here I'll give Candy, and if you have any questions, feel free to visit or give me a call. So thank you very much.
And we certainly appreciate you coming in and everything that the school helps us out with as well.
Yes, thank you.
And your educators are receiving their vaccinations as?
Yeah, so so at this point, we've had 3 opportunities with vaccinations, and at this point, I would say every employee has had the opportunity, or every employee that has wanted the vaccination has had the opportunity to receive that. So I actually waited until all of our employees had that opportunity, and I just received mine on Thursday of last week. I'm happy to say that our district is at the point where all of them have received their one vaccination, their first vaccination to this point that want it. Obviously, we're not forcing anybody, but anybody that wants it has had that opportunity to receive that. And that's a compliment to Ramsey County Health and all the work they've done. So thank you to them and their partnership. It's been great. We could not have done what we've done this school year without them. So.
And everything with the back to school has gone, as far as anybody knows, very well.
Yes, yeah, and I will say, when we look at across the state, we look at, we started off the school year in the hybrid model, so the every other day where their students are in classroom, and then the other day they're on distance learning on their computer at home. That was for our middle school and high school kids, and our elementary kids were full in person. When we look across the state, there are very few districts that sustain the consistency that we sustain. Then at the semester time, we made that transition into full face-to-face, and we're very happy with the transition, and things are going quite well. I want to knock on wood when I say this, but our COVID numbers across the district last week were at 0.40. Every Tuesday I run those numbers, and so we'll see what they are today. But yeah, our percentage was 0.40, so we had a total of 8 people of 1,800 employees and students across the district. We had a total of 8 that were either identified as close contacts or positive, 2 positive, 6 close contacts, which in a district of 1,800 is pretty good. So,
Any decisions made on big events coming up, prom, graduations?
Yes, great question. So prom and military ball, which are our big events in the spring, those will be happening as planned. We'll have some restrictions accordingly as we have to. But masks being worn for the students. Grand March at this point, we're doing 2 vouchers per person, so 4 per couple. And so at that point, that's kind of what we're looking at. We're still in the process of hammering out all the little details, but at this point, military ball and prom will go on as scheduled. Graduation, again, still on as scheduled. We hope to have it in person and hope to be getting back to at least somewhat normalcy as, not the new normal, but the old normal to some point.
Fantastic.
So-
That's great to hear.
Yes, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other visitors, delegations on the line? Steve, nothing? Okay. Report on portfolios. Start over here, Mr. Wakefield, Commissioner.
Happy to do so, but you had Al come in and give you an update on what's going on with that. Everything else seems to be running as usual. I wish I had more to report, but I really don't.
More is less. Thank you. Commissioner Brown.
Yeah, we're doing all right on the jail, I guess, and the entries seem to be picking up again, so we're trying to hit them pretty hard too. Feds weren't moving prisoners around much when that was going full force, but that's picking up. We have the siren project in place for the rest of it, and I think that's going to take care of that. Social service, we met last week with it.
I don't remember.
2 weeks ago.
Everything's blurry.
Everything's going all right there. Kind of listen to the legislators and see what's coming down the tube for the zones, but I think that'll seem to work out, I think, all right. That's about all I have.
Treasurer report, I guess, I talked to Lisa, she said 90% of the taxes have been collected as of yesterday. The remainder expected $1,673,778. Recorders had nothing. Lake access, as I said last time, they did get approved to put 3 access points in, be south corner of 57, north of Camp Grafton by the dike, and then west of the airport. Sent out some agreements on that Lakes Road for all the townships that are involved in that. The Fair Board, the big topic there is Achievement Days, 24, 25, and 26 June. And then we're looking into getting the building some natural gas instead of propane, save some funds there. With that.
I guess from my perspective, not a whole lot. Social services, I'll just add on, we talked a little bit about delineation of duties and who's in charge of what from the standpoint of board members, because there's been questions across all the zones about what's this board in charge of and what's DHS in charge of, and so we talked about that a little bit at our last meeting. I think they have a pretty good layout of that now, so that's good. Everything seems to be running well there. Sarah came in, talked about what's going on up at Extension. Haven't had a chance to talk with our new state attorney yet. He's starting next week, I believe, right? Next week, so that's good. North Central Housing, we hired a new executive director. Tim Green is going to be taking over for us starting next Monday, so we're excited to have him on board. So there'll be some more for there for him, but it's going to be nice having somebody on. Other than that, trying to think of outside stuff. Forward Devils Lake, we didn't meet last, we've been since probably about a month just because there hasn't been a whole lot going on in terms of bills to pay and things like that. But we meet tomorrow, so we all said we're there too.
Great. Thank you. Various updates. Airport Authority, we continue to meet. We're going to have an RFP for our engineering firm coming up Every 5 years, we do that out at the airport. We have a request for proposal from engineering firms. A lot of what gets done on airports is coordinated and approved through an engineer, usually contracted out, and they help with any of the grant funds and the public air service or the things like that, making sure that everything gets done on time and we meet, all the rules and regulations that come forth through that. Legislature, Ed mentioned a little bit, there will be a legislative forum coming up Saturday morning, the 6th. Be sponsored by Lake Region State College, Devils Lake Public Schools, NASC. Saturday, March 6th at 11 a.m., 11 to 1 p.m. at the dining room at Lake Region State. Legislators from districts 9, 10, 14, 15, and 23 have been invited to attend. So, an awful lot of things going on at the legislature. I think the last county legislative update that I received of the almost 900 bills that have been introduced, over half of them have some sort of ties back to the county. One of which would be certainly the gas tax increase, would certainly help county roads a little bit. Initially, they've had a 6% increase, and I think it's gone back to committee for a 3 cents. Yeah, not 6%, I'm sorry, 3 cents. So it'll still make a pretty significant increase in our funding that we receive from the state. Hey, everybody knows recreational marijuana passed the House. The mentality on that is get ahead of it before it gets referred to public vote so they can have a little better control on it. It looks like what they're proposing out of the House in a way is being sold recreationally at the medical marijuana distribution centers. So that'll be interesting. I have seen Bo in the building, our new state's attorney. He was in bringing a load with his vehicle yesterday, and so he's excited to start next Monday. So Monday the 8th will be on board and going strong.
I figured I'd come bother him after he got in a few days.
Yes, we do. So the agenda items, the deadline for agenda items, we want to make that as a motion policy to get things to Candy by noon on Thursdays prior to the commission meeting, so we can have our board packets to us ahead of time before all these new updates and changes and different things like that. I know it would alleviate a lot of the stress and pressure that's placed upon her, give us an opportunity to review things over the weekend and ask any questions that we may have on Monday prior to the meetings. But some of this stuff is coming in late yesterday afternoon, kind of thing. So it doesn't give an ample opportunity to review, discuss, think about, research any of the decisions that we have to make. So I'd like to see that as a
Well, do we want a formal policy, so to speak, or, I mean, it's always kind of been, I wouldn't say formal policy, but kind of informal policy, that was kind of a cutoff point.
Well, I think it's been an informal one, but I think it's been taken advantage of to the point where there's a lot of things that show up on Candy's desk Monday and are supposed to be discussed the following day. And it would, from my perspective, I hate showing up to meetings with surprises. I don't know how anybody else feels about that, but I'd like to be able to prepare for things before I show up, and so we can either do it as a formal policy and get the word out to people that if you don't have it in by Thursday at noon, you won't see it till the following meeting. So,
Has this been, I guess it's a question for Candy, has it been an issue more with people, individuals from the public that are coming to us, or has it been our staff?
Public,
Public? So we would just have to reiterate to people that we wanted it by Thursday, basically, in other words. And that's understandable that the public doesn't know, they just know we meet the next Tuesday, and they don't know they need to have it in previously.
well,
because
and
they don't know our
I
packets
give
go
them
out.
a deadline.
Huh?
I give them a deadline to, could you have it to me by, and then,
Then it will.
if it's not on my desk, I don't put it on the agenda. So,
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with a formal policy necessarily, but from that standpoint, but, it's always been, I guess, under the informal Robert's Rules of Order, essentially, that if we have an informal deadline, then it's at the discretion of the chair to include something or not include something past that deadline. So if you feel that you don't want anything included past that noon Thursday deadline, I support you wholly that's fine. We always had that discussion, at least when I was sure, between Candy and I, should we put it on if something comes in Friday or not, or whatever, but I mean, if you feel Thursday needs the cut date, Thursday needs the cut date. And everybody needs to know it, if they don't get it in, well, they wait 2 weeks.
During a regular meeting, and we have approval agenda, any commissioner can add something to the agenda in a second. So
right.
I guess if it's that important to put it on at that point, go that route, I guess.
Well, and maybe that's the best way to do it is at the discretion of the chairman, and depending on what it is, if something comes in last minute, that's certainly going to affect the ability of a business or a raffle or something like that that's has a time-sensitive deadline.
Yeah.
We would hope that they would bring it to us ahead of time for discussion, but certainly don't want to hold people up either.
Well, we're here to serve the people, remember that.
I think it's a matter, like you said, it's a matter of if it's time sensitive or if it isn't time sensitive, and I fully trust between you and Candy if something comes in late, but I mean, I think it doesn't hurt to have them reiterate that we would like everything in by noon on Thursday so we can get the packet together and give staff time to be prepared. If it continues to be a problem, then I think it's reasonable that we formalize a policy that says anything after noon that has to come before the commission before it's put on the agenda.
Work for you, Kenny? Okay. That'll work for us. We'll make sure that we reiterate that we like things not only from our departments but from the public to noon on Thursday for the meeting the following Tuesday. And we'll go from there. Anything else for the good of the order? If not, meeting adjourned.